Hours after a massive win for your Sacramento Kings, they are back in business tonight. Back to back, the Clippers in town here in Sacramento. Looking forward to getting you ready for that game tonight. Get your thoughts on last night's game and what to expect. First time the Kings are going to see the Clips this year. So really excited to have you here. This is the pregame show on If You Don't Like That.
3, 2, 1, go.
11th Sacramento miscue. Carter, stolen by Williams. And look at this. Oh, you don't like that. You don't like NBA basketball. Fox, goodbye. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. The exclamation point from De'Aaron Fox. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
Boy, that's an ESPN highlight right there. Whoa. Carlson comes in. How about this? Holy moly, Jim Bob Foley. That is a major league smush.
Welcome into the party. It is that time again. Feels like we were just here. That's because we were just here. Kings, Clippers tonight. Happy to have you here. I'm Ryan in Sacktown. Right off the bat, let's get to Sports Freak. Always, you know what? You usually start the show off. So after last night's epic comeback, Kings will need to find the fuel to keep the pace up tonight. Agreed. The Clippers do not like to play at a high tempo, high pace style. So that's one area where the Kings can certainly excel. This evening, Mike Brown, he is going to have to lean on his bench and get, if De'Aaron Fox looks tired, you're going to have to get him a couple extra breaks here and there and get some production from the other guys, the bench mob 2.0. But anyways, getting to the rest of the comment, the Kings have the matchup, chemistry, and younger age advantage over the Clips. Stay on the gas equals a win. So I don't know if they have the matchup advantage here, because if we were to line guys up one-on-one, especially on that front line, there's some difficult matchups for the Kings with Keegan Murray still missing the game tonight. So look for Mike Brown to stick with the same starting five that he has with Chris Duarte and Kevin Huerter in there. So, with the matchups, the Kings are going to have to do what they did with Steph Curry in the second half last night. Just kind of throw the kitchen sink at him. Whether it's Kawhi, whether it's Paul George, Russell Westbrook. I know a lot of people like to think he's washed, but for whatever reason, he plays up when he plays the Kings. So don't let him remember that he is Russell Westbrook. But there's things Kings can do to take care of those matchups. But also, here's where you're right. On the flip side of things, the Kings do have some matchups that favor them offensively. So the Clippers are going to have to figure out how to deal with that. So let's see. We'll get to Clint. Is Keegan back in the lineup? He is not. So Keegan is not playing again tonight, last that I saw. Do you get him ready for the in-season tournament? I don't think it matters. These are regular season games. Regardless. So get them rested up. Team's playing well. They're going to be riding the momentum off of last night. Huge win for the Kings over the Warriors. Just a massive comeback starting in the third quarter and a complete meltdown by Draymond Green in the latter stages of the third and early fourth quarter. So just an epic night. Great job by the Kings. Well, they need to get picked up by the crowd tonight. There's no doubt about that. Jeff, what is up, my man? Back-to-back problems despite what Fox says. Yes and no. I think that it's one of those things. The Kings haven't done it that much this season. The one sample size, or the only sample size we have of them in a back-to-back would be that first game in New Orleans, and we all know how that went. So I think Fox specifically, he played big minutes last night, over, I think, right around 40. So he's going to need to get a couple extra breaks. But, if the game's the same style as last night, Mike Brown will keep the five on the floor that are playing well, like he did in the fourth quarter. So let's see. Thanks for checking in. Kings lost their, that's what I just said, back-to-back games. They're very tired from yesterday. Well, are you in the building with them? Were you at shoot around? I don't know if they're tired or not. one would assume, yes, they are. I mean, despite what they're going to say, they're going to be on their scripts when talking to the media. The guys played some big minutes last night. Now, the good thing is, you didn't get, now Sabonis didn't really, how do I want to put this, produce offensively, at least in the scoring column, but he still kind of had that pinball game where he's bouncing around with the big guys. But look for Sabonis to have a little bit more rest. He didn't play as big of minutes down. He played big minutes down the stretch, but he also got some decent breaks. So I think he'll be okay tonight. So, John, what's up, buddy? How is the Fu Manchu going? We always need to finish well. Absolutely. It doesn't matter how you start. It's or we need to finish well. Absolutely. Amen, my friend. Alberto, welcome into the pregame show here on If You Don't Like That. I wouldn't want Russ or Harden on the Kings. No, why would you? That's why the Kings didn't pursue them. If the Kings wanted Harden, they could have had him, and it just would never work out. And same thing with Russ. He does not fit the mold of what the Kings are looking for right now. And maybe there could have been some benefit to having one of them, specifically Russ, in the locker room, but I don't think they were good fits basketball wise and off the court. That's debatable. Certainly Harden, not debatable. He is not somebody you want in your locker room. Adam, what is up, my man? Thanks for being here on the pregame show. In what world does giving up assets for James Harden make sense? Well, obviously an NBA world, but think about James Harden and what they got for him, specifically the 76ers. Not very much. The Clippers really did the Sixers a favor by even keeping those talks alive. So, now Maxey in Philadelphia, he's balling out. That's cleared way for him and Embiid to really up their chemistry. So, not any logical world are assets good for James Harden. And that's going to show when he comes up for a contract. He is not going to, he's going to get a big shock, whether he thinks so or not, when he sees the offers that are on the table, because there won't be very much. Let's see, getting to Guerrero. Bench needs to be huge for the Kings tonight. No doubt, Guerrero. We kind of hit on that off the top. Kings Clippers tonight, by the way. If you are just joining us from Golden One Center, Kings' second back-to-back of the season. They are 0-1 in back-to-back so far. Keegan Murray not playing tonight. Other than that, the Kings will have a full go of their rotation guys. Obviously, Alex Len's still out. But Keon Ellis did get some minutes last night, so he is back from the ankle injury. Here's the thing that I'm going to say about the bench, Guerrero. Trey Lyles, obviously, Trey needs to be the spark from the bench, because for the Kings, especially in a game like this tonight, where you want to try to run the Clips off the court, which is tough with the back-to-back, but still doable, you're going to need to have Fox and Monk play minutes together. So you almost need to look at Monk as like that sixth starter, especially in a game like this. So he needs to be grouped in with those starters in terms of the expectations for the minutes he's going to play, but also the rotations he will be a part of. Again, I expected him to get minutes with De'Aaron Fox, much like he did last night. And question becomes Sasha. Where does he fit in? Can Sasha guard James Harden at his position? I think he probably could. I mean, Sasha has actually moved his feet decently on defense, and perimeter-wise, he's a little bit crafty, Sasha. So he's even though he's a rookie, he is a veteran. He has seen a lot of basketball, so I know Harden's really good at the ball fakes and, drawing fouls at times, but I think Sasha, will be able to, maybe he gets goaded into one of those plays, but after that, he would be okay. But you're going to need the other guys, the swing guys, the Kessler Edwards. You're going to need those guys to give you good minutes tonight. So good job by you, Guerrero. Really like it. Carf, what's up, my man? Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. And a question about Sasha. Do you think Sasha earned more playing time based on last night's performance? Absolutely. I mean, Mike Brown's going to favor matchups over everything. And we're looking at three players with the Clippers. We're looking at Paul George, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard. And if you want to throw Russell Westbrook in there, we'll give you 3.5, 4. So those three, due to just their size, their length, I mean, and all three minus minus James Harden. I'm going to throw Russ Westbrook in the 3 there. They're good defenders. The Clippers are 3rd in defensive rating in the NBA, 1st in steals. And the reason for that is because of their length. They get deflections. So Sasha, I think he's earned his minutes and the right to be in there. Now, the question becomes, where does he fit into the scheme of things with the guards? And when I say the guards, on switches, can he guard on a pick and roll switch, on an isolation? But based off of Mike Brown's track record, absolutely, on his performance last night, Sasha will indeed get some more minutes tonight. I would be shocked to see it any other way. Let's see. Just noticed the Kings are not favored to win. That's surprising to you? No, not at all. The Clippers were watching last night's game from the Sawyer Hotel. So they're here in town. They are rested. So I would definitely make them favorites tonight just because of what the Kings did in their last back-to-back. And you got to think about the energy that was expended last night from this team, specifically De'Aaron Fox, specifically Trey Lyles, Malik Monk. For a high-tempo team, the house is always going to bet against that on a back-to-back, especially a team that relies so heavily on the jump shot. And the Kings are one of those teams at times. So not a surprise whatsoever. The next watch party on PSF, appreciate the kind words, Alberto. I'm gonna do a show. It's gonna be called Beyond the Beam. That's gonna be a weekly show on the PSF app. And first off, I want to thank all of you that have joined the PSF app and are part of that chat room. We appreciate you guys being there. The watch parties have been fun. We recognize that there are some bugs with the application and some things that they are still working on. It's a new app. It's to be expected, but I can tell you they are working overtime to get those bugs fixed. So hang in there with us. Thank you for asking. We're going to get a couple updates, and we will be doing another watch party, or I will be doing another watch party, I believe, for the game on December 11th. So we'll keep you posted, but before that, we'll have a Beyond the Beam show. So thank you for that, Alberto Guerrero making his way back in, and thank you guys all for the comments again. Kings, Clippers tonight, Grant and Jerry at halftime right here on If You Don't Like That. I will be joining them, and then post-game, Grant and I will wrap it up. Hopefully we're talking about a Kings win, but if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel as well. That way you can get notifications if you choose to anytime we go live on the air, because we just don't do Kings programming. Grant has shows with Jerry. He has shows with Sean Salisbury where they talk football, so we'd love to have you join those shows as well. Guerrero, I want the Kings this season at home to win between 32 and 39 games. Make other team. That's a high standard, man. They only play 41 at home. I don't. Well, I guess you got a little bit of a wider range at 32. At 39, they've already lost one, so they could only lose one the rest of the way. It would be great, though. Make other teams scared to play in Sacramento. Make Golden One a nightmare for the rest of the league. I think Golden One kind of is already, it's 100% on the radar of the players around the league. I mean, almost any time a quote-unquote star rolls through the Golden One Center, they're inevitably asked about the crowd, about the team, about kind of how the culture has changed, and the crowd is something that always comes up that the other players compliment. So they know it's a hard place to play. In terms of making it a nightmare, in time. I mean, it's a beast waiting to explode. We know that, Guerrero. We've seen how this team is supported, especially from those 2006 years. So 32 would be nice. But if they're in the 75th to 80th percentile winning at home, that's going to be all right for them. And on the road, they absolutely have to keep at least a 500 record. Yeah, you're welcome, dude. My pleasure, Alberto. Guys, if you guys knew the day that I have had today, and I do apologize for being a minute tardy to the show. Mr. Napier will not be happy with me for that. I will take my lashings off the air. But oh man, I got hit in the face with a frying pan today. You guys can't tell right now because I put some new skin on my lip. Maybe you'll be able to tell by the time of the post-game show. But yeah, it's a labor right now getting the words out of my mouth. So fun one indeed. Thank you, John. Let's see. Aiden, welcome to the party, my friend. Does Davion play today? Absolutely. Like I said, I think Monk and Fox need to be on the floor together. Now, if Davion's in that mix as well, possibly. Will he be on the floor with them? Unlikely. But is there a spot for him to get minutes when one of those two is going to be on the bench? No doubt. Especially coming off of Guerrero's made a couple points about it with the energy, and Sports Freak as well about the energy expelled last night in the win against Golden State. The Kings are going to need all hands on deck tonight. You're definitely also going to be looking to make sure the Kings do not get in foul trouble because, again, the Clippers on the defensive end have, I know, David, I'll get to it in a second. The Clippers on the defensive end, they have playmakers, very good defenders. But offensively, I think the Kings can exploit and take advantage of them. The thing is, the Clippers, they don't play like a team, and don't give them a reason to get into the game and start believing and playing like a team. Make them play that individual, kind of style of basketball that's led them to the record and the struggles that they've already had this year. So, Adam or Aiden, Keon will get minutes too, my friend. I see your follow up there. So he'll be out there again, all hands on deck. Davion's going to be spot duty. And I would pose that to you guys. What do you guys think? I think Davion, he's a couple minutes here, couple minutes there. If you can't stop Westbrook or Fox gets in foul trouble, then you turn to him a little bit more. Let's see. If you kept the beard, you wouldn't be able to see that injury. I know. Well, you probably would be able to see it because the beard wasn't like really all encompassing. It wasn't John Finch style. You could kind of see through. But what happened was I leaned down to get something out of our oven. In one of our frying pans, the handle was hanging over the edge of the range. And when I came up, my lip hit it. So that is what happened. So for all those, like, what the heck? Ryan, do you think the referees will be a factor in this game? No, I don't think so. I mean, I think the refs, Frog, kind of have had it with James Harden's shtick, more or less. The kicking the legs out, the flailing. If you don't think he was a part of the reason that flop rule went into effect this year, you're crazy. He was definitely a part of it, much like we saw Draymond last night. And talk about how does Draymond not get called for a technical with his flop with Lyles last night? It was so blatant. It was terrible. But to your point, no, I think the Kings will be more of a factor in this game than the refs will. And when I say that, I mean, the Kings getting in their own way. I expect them to have a better chance of tripping up because of the short rest in the game last night versus the refs tripping them up. But we sure have had a couple of weird games for the Kings and the refs. You look at that Minnesota game where the Kings had 5-6 free throws, I want to say, in the first half of the game. And then all of a sudden they got more in the second half, but still not a ton of free throws. And then last night, the Kings end up with over 20 free throws in the third quarter. So anyways, yes, I think the Kings will stay out of their way, but refs will be fine. Yep, we need the starters, Adam. There is no doubt about that. Thoughts on, I'm not going to take that one. I don't necessarily know where you're going with that. And that is for a different show, my friend. David, bro, you need to unpack this frying pan incident. All right, so David's a clone. He's talking about unpacking. Yeah, I need to unpack it. The thing I'm getting knocked the most for is the fact that I put new skin on my bottom lip. So that's what I'm getting it for. And then my clone buddies that know about it, they're like, hey, did you get the Tiger Woods treatment? Did you piss off your wife? I'm like, no, did it to myself. So, but no, I am good. So if you guys see anything, just let me know and I'll go to a Bennett's live read or something. So anyways, appreciate it. C-Dog, what's up, my man? Let's get another one tonight. Absolutely. The Kings are playing great basketball. They really are. You look at their record and everything they have faced so far this year, you can do nothing but praise them. I mean, certainly there have been some ugly games, but they've been able to kind of move past them. And some of the uglier games that we think about with the Kings this year, the teams actually weren't that bad. We've come to know that now. The Rockets are actually better than we expected. The Pelicans better than we expected. So, yeah, I think they get another dub and they send Sacramento home happy tonight. Was I cooking up a King W in the oven? No, I was not. See, it wasn't even anything good. That was the problem. I was trying to, so on show nights, I try to make sure I set the wife up, set the son up, everything's good to go. And I was just moving too fast, and I assure you, I did not flop. I took it like a man. Baki, what is up, my friend? The Kings are not not a home court winning team. Why is that? Interesting. Expand. They're focused on, or let's see, they're focused to develop great game, whatever floor they hit. Basketball, until you get to the playoffs, it really doesn't matter too much with the home court away advantage. Look at the Kings, right? They're pretty darn good on the road, and that came out of nowhere last year, and they've continued it this year. So the home court will come around for them. There is no doubt about that. So, Rano, if you could pick only one, or let's see, if you could only pick one, would you rather the Kings win a championship or work on the Jim Rome show? Damn, you're hitting me deep, Alberto. Kings win a championship. 100%. I love what I'm doing right now with Grant. I have a great time with all of you guys. I've got a good relationship with the Rome show already, and friends with a ton of the clones. So I would take it as it is right now. I am a happy man, but that is a tough one. That is a very tough one. And for those that don't know, the people that work on that show, that is like a 22-hour per day gig. They are constantly grinding and keeping their eyes out for content and things happening on social. So Sea-Dog getting back in. At least we're not playing the Clippers in an early afternoon game. Those always seem tough ones. Yeah. And don't forget, Sea-Dog, you made me think. You clicked that little spark in my head. These two teams played some damn good games last year. Obviously, the one that sticks out is the overtime victory in LA. That was probably the best Kings regular season win of all time, and probably the best regular season game of all time in Kings franchise history. But the other games, some of them were close. Some of them were a little bit of blowouts towards the end. But the Kings really had the Clippers number last year, and we really liked. I remember Grant and I, we talked about it a lot, how the Kings matched up with the Clippers. And I don't think the Clippers have really done anything to make themselves better. James Harden doesn't make them better. So, yeah, I think that the Kings, they're set for tonight. And the Clippers, they pretty much have a full deck of guys. Plumlee is still out. Other than that, they've got everybody. They're not real deep. I'm not going to go into depth breaking down each guy. I mean, the three that you need to know about, we have already talked about. And the addition, Westbrook, obviously him, but he's been there for a while. Harden sets a tone for that team. And if you guys remember, Harden does not play in two different systems. He is the system. So when you have a star coming into a locker room with that mindset, it's especially when you're somebody that can't stay in shape. You're somebody that cannot win in the postseason. You're somebody that can't go an entire season without jetting off for Vegas or a vacation in the middle of the season. It's really hard to respect a player like that if you are a veteran in that locker room. I mean, shoot, look at the reaction that I don't know how many of you saw it, but look at the reaction when James Harden was traded to LA and when he walked into the locker room for the first time. It was crickets. The look on Russ Westbrook's face was kind of like, wait, you're here? Like, am I happy about this? It was just a very odd situation. And I feel like it's just, that's the Clippers, right? They reach and reach and reach. their owner, Steve Ballmer, he just doesn't realize you got to blow it up. And they've got some big decisions to make here in the next year. Do they extend Kawhi? Do they extend Paul George? I don't think you do. And if you're not going to, are they going to be on the trade market come the trade deadline? Could the Kings be in the market? I know that would be in division, in conference trade. Could the Kings be in the market for a rental for one of those two? That's a position the Kings need, right? They need some 3-and-Ds. What would you pay? Is that your Aaron Gordon to take this Kings team over the top? Is this the Kings window to win a championship? We'll see. If Guerrero's right and the Kings win close to 39 games at home and they're 500 on the road, very well could break that way for the Kings, but a lot of time and a lot of games in between that. So really interesting scenarios to think about. So I had to hit you guys with that. So I know all you guys are probably right around dinner time. If you've not eaten yet, don't forget about Bennett's Westside Grill, newest location in Rockland. They always got the games there. Go check it out, or you can watch the game there. Have a great dinner. I'm getting to the point where I don't know what to say about Bennett's anymore because I am out of good things to say about them because their food is spectacular. They have amazing steaks, great seafood, a menu that pretty much accommodates everybody. They've got awesome specials too. Happy hour, brunch on the weekends, prime rib on the weekends. And then also holiday season, get-togethers. If your office is having a party or you're going to get together with family that's coming in from out of town, you want to do a dinner out, go check out Bennett's. They've got some private dining rooms that are gorgeous. And Brian and the staff over there can get you all set up. Also, check out their to-go menu. Get something to go, bring it in, just as good, but can't go wrong. Bennett's locations in Roseville, Rockland, and off of Howe in Fair Oaks. And as always, when you go into Bennett's, tell them you heard about them here on If You Don't Like That. Grant and Jerry coming up at halftime. As always, it's been such a treat to have Grant and Jerry here at halftime. Really enjoyed that a lot, and I'm sure all of you have enjoyed it as well. And then also, after the game, Grant and I will be here to break things down. Yeah, Adam, he is the system. That's right. James Harden is the system. But we will do the pregame or the postgame show here on If You Don't Like That. Kings, Clippers getting ready to tip off here in a few minutes. I appreciate all you being here. It's always fun talking these Kings games with you. I mean, there's really not a ton to break down here. I mean, the Kings know what they need to do. They keep the turnovers. This is a game, so I'll give you a couple keys. You have to value, you got to love the leather, as Jerry Reynolds says. You absolutely need to make sure you are not turning the ball over. You have to watch out for the long arms of Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook when he comes off the bench. They're great defenders. They're very good defenders. Third in the NBA in terms of defensive rating, first in steals in the NBA. So the Kings can't get caught in the air and get caught in the air and turn the ball over and not know what to do with it or come down with it and travel. They have to be decisive and, make good plays with the ball. Also, the Kings have to win the battle inside. The Kings have to win the points in the paint battle because we've seen the Kings have not this season shot well on back-to-back or the second night of a back-to-back. They shot terribly in that first game at New Orleans. So don't rely on the jump shot. Did I say fair Charles? Sorry about that, Matthew. Oh, you're saying fair to Charles. Don't rely on the jump shot. Get it inside. Also, give yourself some rest during the game. Get to the free throw line. Kings do those two things, they're going to be just right. That assist turnover ratio, you get that right around 3-1. The Kings are going to be looking really good because if they're doing that, that means they're getting to the rim at will. That means they are getting to the line whenever they want. And that also means that Mike Brown does not have guys in foul trouble. he's getting the Clippers into foul trouble. Get yourself some breaks when you're at the line, score with the clock stopped. All those little things in a back-to-back really help. And when those things are happening inside, guess what opens up? The outside game. So my last key is I want to see Mike Brown be decisive tonight with his game plan. Is it going to be the dribble handoff? Is it going to be the pick and roll? Which way are you going to roll against the Clippers? Because so often we've seen the Kings come out and it's just like it's a little parlay of the two. One's not really being run more than the other. It needs to be a game where the Kings, just like they targeted Minnesota with their game plan, they need to do the same tonight with the Clippers. So come out, figure out how the Clippers are playing you, and go from there. Make sure that you take advantage of the mismatches that they give you. And if they go under screens, shoot the jump shot. If they go over, take it to the hole. So those are my keys to the game. Love to get your keys. We're running out of time, though. Yeah, you got to go blow up Bennett's. Go blow it up. You got to blow up Bennett's to get it in Wisconsin. Interesting, Matthew. Yeah, I don't know if Brian's going to go to Wisco, but it would be good if he did. I hear the food pretty good in Wisco, though. All right. So, those NOLA matchups are different. Yeah, so the NOLA matchups were different, absolutely, but it didn't change the way the Kings came out in that game. So the game plan was still the same, and it was mixed. And just as much as they had an advantage on the offensive end, the Kings also had an advantage on the offensive end. They were quicker than those guys. They just didn't take advantage of it. So anyways, all right, Kings, Clippers, getting ready to tip off now. Thank you so much for being here on the pregame show. We will be back at halftime. Grant Napier, Jerry Reynolds right here breaking down the first half for you, get to you some predictions for the second half, and then Grant and I will break down the game afterwards. Hopefully we're talking about a Kings win and the beam being lit. So I appreciate all of you. Too many to name. Can't wait to see you at halftime. Enjoy the first half. We will be back at halftime again. Thumbs up if you like the show and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Ryan in Sacktown. See you at halftime.